Hi everyone, my name is Ksenia, and today I will be talking to you about the humanitarian crisis at the southern border. Just a little bit of background information. A humanitarian crisis is an event that is threatening in terms of safety, health, and well being of a large group of people. And I hope by the end of this presentation you understand why the southern border does fall under the humanitarian crisis based on the same criteria. The crisis began in 2014 when the US first declared the crisis at the southern border because of the large influx in numbers of unaccompanied children and families who are crossing through unguarded ports in Texas. Most of these refugees are fleeing and seeking asylum because of violence and inability to provide for their families because of the economy of their home countries. I think it's important to understand why people are fleeing and to understand these migration factors, which most of them fall under economical, political, social, and environmental. Some of the most common factors that come to mind are poverty, violence, food insecurity, inability to earn a decent wage, and lack of education. People at the southern border are fleeing from the Northern Triangle, which includes countries like Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Those are the countries that are ranked the most dangerous because of the high rate of domestic violence and food insecurity because of storms and hurricanes that often hit Central America. To talk more about unaccompanied children, which is just a legal term, it's an umbrella term that describes children who are under the age of 18, who don't have any legal status, and who are crossing without a parent or a legal guardian accompanying them. The U.S. immigration laws do provide protection to these minors through allowing them to apply for asylum, special immigrant juvenile status, T visa, and U visa. Asylum is just a general term that doesn't only apply to children, adults are able to apply for it as well, which just grants you protection by the US government. The special immigrant juvenile status allows you to become a resident if the child has suffered abuse or neglect by one or both of their parents. U visa is reserved for victims of very specific crimes, and T visa is reserved for children who have suffered severe cases of human trafficking. Temporary housing facilities. They're located at every entry port, and they're just stations and housing that provide temporary shelter while the refugees are temporarily staying in the United States, waiting for their decision to be made if they have legal status or if they're getting deported back to their home country. These shelters are very overwhelmed because of the large influx of people coming in, and they need more staff, they need more help. They're not able to keep up with the amount of people that are coming in to the country just because of that very large influx of immigrants. And these shelters provide more than just like a roof over your head. They provide food, they provide legal aid, they provide medical aid, and oftentimes transportation. So at this point, you might be asking, why is this important? Why should I care? It is a very complex issue that is very prominent in the United States and has been since 2014 because it is still under a state of a humanitarian crisis. And I think that everyone should be at least aware of it because it has such a big effect on the country and just the well-being of millions of people. And I know that by nature humans tend to care more about things that directly affect us or our families. And I know this is a very broad issue, especially if you don't personally know any immigrants or refugees currently going through immigration court seeking asylum. So I know it is very, very broad. It's just, especially if you are unaware of it. But I do encourage everyone to educate yourself and to want to try to help in any way that you can, just because it does affect the well being of millions and millions of people and families who just want a better life. They just want a chance to be able to support their families and have a better future for their children. And I think it's very simple. I think everyone deserves a chance at a good life. I think that's all that it comes down to. So, once again, in a perfect world, it would be so easy to say that the one solution that we should have is to have an open border policy, that everyone can come in, everyone can get a chance at a better life, and we could help everyone. But it's just unrealistic, especially if you think about the well being of the economy of the United States and the safety and security of the United States. So I did come up with a couple of possible solutions that won't completely get rid of the problem, but they'll help lessen the load that is currently pressing down on the shoulders of those officers who are working at the entry ports. The first one is sending humanitarian aid to Central America because I think the solution lies at the root of the problem, which is the horrible conditions that people are fleeing from in Central America. Sending aid and helping the economy would lessen the influx of people coming in, at least those who are fleeing from economic difficulties. The second one is partnering up with humanitarian nonprofit organizations on both sides of the border to help to make sure that the people who are seeking asylum, their needs are met and that they're taken care of and that they're able to get everything done as needed so they're under less stress because I can't even imagine this must be an incredibly stressful situation. The third solution is improving ports of entry, modernizing them, making sure that the process is efficient, that everyone's getting through and everyone's getting the information that they need to be able to send in their applications for asylum. Hiring professionals is the last possible solution. It once again won't help get rid of the problem, but it'll help lessen the load. Help hire therapists and language professionals would just make sure that everyone is safe and comfortable and everyone understands what they need to do and what they need to get done. This is my Works Cited page. Thank you for listening, and I do hope that this was educational and inspired you in any way um, to help these immigrants and these millions of families.